Okay, it's time to answer some of your questions. I'm down in Florida again. So what I want to do is look at the comments that you have made and try to respond to them as best I can. And here's one by someone named Polak, P-O-L-A-K. And he says this, referring to the Jamarats. Remember we talked about the Jamarats. These are these towers. When you go to Mecca today, here's a picture of them. There are 3 towers. Notice that? 1, 2, 3. But when you go to the original Jamarat that we talked about, that Dan Gibson refers to in Petra, it's only 1 tower. So why has 1 tower become 3 towers? 1 in Petra has now become 3 in Mecca. Well, this is what Polak says. Are there 3 pillars spread out now for, number 1, to accommodate the large amounts of people? Or B, to symbolize the 3 times in their beliefs that Abraham allegedly stoned the devil? Why did it change from 1 pillar to 3? And I think you've answered your own question, Polak. Yes, to both of them. See, what happens is when you take the sanctuary, which originally was in Petra, where there was only 1 tower, and you would throw stones at the devil, 1 devil, there in Petra, and those stones were thrown, and the Jamarat has been found by Dan Gibson. Here's a picture of the foundations of it. When you then move that sanctuary, as the Abbasids did, as Ibn Zubair more than likely was the one that initiated that and brought it back down to where he lived, back in the Hijaz, down to what is today Mecca, much further in the south, the pilgrims started following. And as the pilgrims increase, and this is something that happened over the centuries, as more and more of them, now we know millions come, but back in the last 1300 years, when Mecca was finally chosen, you can then understand why they had to accommodate that, and they had to, listen, you throw stones, and if there are large crowds, some of those stones don't hit the Jamarats, they hit the people in the front. In fact, here's a picture, take a look at this. Here's a picture today of the older Jamarats that were a few years ago, where because of that problem, they had umbrellas. They put umbrellas there to accommodate that, to keep making sure that people didn't get hit, because you can get hurt by those stones. And so it was obvious that there were too many people at 1 stone, so they had to build 2 more. Now, once you build 2 more stones, 2 more towers to accommodate the larger, increasingly large crowds, you then have to problem, because then you have got to come up with a story. You've got to come up with a narrative. You've got to come up with a backstory to make sense of these, not 1, but now 3 Jamarats. So what do? Well, you create a story, you create a legend, you create a myth, which then becomes the narrative for Muslims today, and that is that these are the 3, the belief that Abraham allegedly stoned 3 devils 3 times because he was accosted by the devil 3 times. Now, where in Scripture does it say that? Where do you find a reference to that in the Quran? Nowhere. Nowhere. But that's okay, because legends don't need to have any founding in Scripture. Legends, by definitions, are something that is created by man to understand what is they're seeing in front of them, or what they have to deal with. And that's why now the 3 Jamarats now support that legend, that Abraham was somehow, that he was seduced, or that he was accosted, or that he was confronted by the devil. You throw the stones to help Abraham out. Assuming, therefore, that Abraham even lived in Mecca. A big problem in and of itself. What was Abraham doing so far south? But that's how legends are created, and that's why legends then become the narrative, and that's the narrative for today. So, Polak, you've answered your own question. Well done. God bless you. This is Jay. Over and out.